You are now listening to the Hunter's Advantage podcast. We preserve the history and sport of hunting through curious conversation and action-packed hunts, as well as offering you tips and strategy for more successful hunts. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hunter's Advantage podcast. This is episode number 138. Not joined, but I'm here with Jacoby Gaylord. Second podcast of the night. How you holding up?
You know, it's a whopping 8:50 in my old age. That's about bedtime.
Yeah, Abby's already asleep. You're defying. You're about to go to the coffee machine to.
Yeah, I'll hear about it later. Don't worry.
Yeah, there you go. So we got something pretty exciting coming up, Jake. Are we about to hit a pretty big milestone on YouTube?
Yeah, we're at 200 subscribers, guys. We're about to break it.
What that just made me think of the funniest thing ever happened when we had Cole Cannon of Buck Ventures on. He said, "Yep, trying to get to 100,000 followers on Instagram." He goes, "I'm at 3,000." So
just a little ways to go.
Oh, it was so funny. No, so we are having a really exciting giveaway. We're almost to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're at 9.14 thousand. And we've had a lot of really cool folks interact with us and support us since 2019, over 4 years ago when we started the Hunter's Advantage. So we wanted to do something big for you guys and something big for you that would hurt our pocketbooks. And so we're thinking of something big with for our 10K on YouTube, and we had to do it. We had to do it with our buddies over Out on a Limb. You've been using their saddle gear, Jake, this season. First year using it. What, are you impressed? Should these folks be excited for the giveaway?
Man, the sad thing is whoever wins this is going to have a better saddle hunting setup than me. As long as you already have a saddle, you're going to have a better basically. Everything besides the saddle, you're going to have a better setup than me. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and when I mean better, I just mean a more updated version.
That's true. So whoever gets this, I think they're gonna have a good time. So the purpose of this episode, 1, is to announce the giveaway, but 2, we have some really cool questions that we fielded from Facebook, from email, and from TikTok that we're going to talk about. But first, we wanted to outline this giveaway and talk about the prizes, talk about what you got to do to enter, and I think it's gonna be a pretty good time.
I literally might make like 5 alt accounts and just try to enter in that way, because like when I say it's better than my setup, it's better than my setup. So y'all should listen.
It's funny because Hunter Williamson, a guy that you guys have probably seen in some of the YouTube videos, he was like, "Can I enter?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Will you just tell everybody else that you that I won?" And I was like, "No." He was, after I told him what we were giving away. If you're interested in running gun hunting, public land hunting, saddle hunting, anything like that, I think it's gonna be a pretty good giveaway for you guys. So it's fairly simple. I'll walk through the details and then we can get into some of the Q&A, probably some of the stuff you came for. But hey, free stuff. Who doesn't want to hear about that a little bit? So like I said, we're at 9,100, just over that on YouTube. Once we hit 10,000 on YouTube, we're giving away over $700 worth of prizes for one winner. So Jake and I kind of kicked this back and forth. We were like, "Hey, do we want to give 3 winners an okay prize, or do we want like one big kahuna taken home?"
One big kahuna.
So somebody's going to be very happy, and there's ways to get more than one entry. So let's talk about it a little bit. But let's first talk about what we're giving away. First is a set of 3 Out on a Limb Shakar fixed sticks. So what that means is, Out on a Limb, when they originally came out with their Shakar sticks, you could fold the top of the stick where it was completely flat and they would stack together. Well, they've actually came up with a new system where you don't have to do that on each one of the sticks, and they just stack vertically or horizontally on top of each other, and they are very, very packable. So those are a really nice set of sticks, and those are easily
super
$350. And yeah, I think they're just over £1 per stick. And they're going to come with straps. So that's pretty sweet. If you want to upgrade the straps, that's fine, but you'll have everything you need with those sticks.
I don't think people understand I mean, maybe they do, but if you literally Google like lightest climbing sticks or lightest saddle platform, Out on a Limb's literally the first one to pop up.
These are focused on not only quality but weight. So if you're one of those guys that's likes to measure in ounces, you're going to be happy with this. So
Absolutely.
One is the sticks. I will say a little bit about the sticks. I ran the same set of them for 3 years now. They bite the tree like the tree stole their lunch money, like the tree spit on their mama or something like that. They bite the tree like they're pissed off. I don't know why that is, but the teeth on them are extremely aggressive, and you won't have any issue with slippage out of the tree or any kickouts. So that's number one. Number two is an Out on a Limb Ridge Runner 2.0 platform. This is the best platform that Out on a Limb has, and MSRP's for almost $240. And it gets on sale right now on their website, but almost $240. Super nice platform. I ran it all last season. It's a good one, and it's lightweight too.
Yeah, so I have one that like you have to seat
You have
it.
the podium.
Yeah, I have the podium, and still really, really good. But I got the podium before I think he even came out with the 2.0, the Ridge Runner. And dude, that thing's sweet. Like if I could trade, I would trade just because I like the style a little bit better. Like I like the almost the downward pressure rather than the podium. You have to kind of upseat it, if you kind of know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like pull up to be able to seat it down. And let me tell you, like from hunting with you this last season, it was night and day difference. And so like you're definitely getting the best of the best.
Yeah, and what he's talking about a little more in detail is the cam over style. Like on the Ridge Runner 2.0, you tighten the strap and it's already tight on the tree before you cam it over. Right. And when you cam it over, that sucker is mad at the tree.
Personal preference. I mean, yeah. But yeah, you're definitely getting the best one from them.
Yeah, absolutely. Last thing we're going to give in the giveaway. It wouldn't be a Hunter's Advantage giveaway if we didn't give away some sort of Hunter's Advantage merch. So for the winner, we're going to send either a army green or a nice cream colored HA shirt, Hunter's Advantage logo on the front, and your choice of a black leather patch hat or a camouflage leather patch HA hat, and some of the best merch around. I mean, if I do say so myself, but
only killers wear it.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah. Guaranteed to bring your kill ratio way up. But those three things, the set of 3 Shikara fixed sticks, the Ridge Runner 2.0, and the merch, all of that stuff combined before shipping is like over a $700 value. So, and if you've seen the shipping prices lately, you know that we probably could call that $800 very easily. I shipped 3 pieces of paper to Pope and Young today, and it cost me $19. So, yeah, we're not including shipping in there too. So we're going to take the hit on that. The first thing that you'll see us do regarding this giveaway is we're going to post a video on YouTube in the next few days, and we're probably going to call it something like 10,000 subscriber giveaway - Hunter's Advantage. You'll see that out on the YouTube channel. That's step one. So let's talk a little bit about the entry rules. So since we're partnering up with Out on a Limb for this giveaway, you're going to need to follow us, which is Hunter's Advantage on Facebook, or at Hunters_Advantage on Instagram. And you're going to have to follow Out on a Limb, which on Instagram is out_on_a_limb. I need to take a breath, _MFG_LLC. Or just look for Out on a Limb. It's a lot easier way to find it. And you can follow us on one of the two. So if you're following on Facebook, preferably Instagram. But if you follow us and Out on a Limb on Facebook, that's good. Or you follow us and Out on a Limb on Instagram, that's good. That's step one. Step two, you're going to have to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Hunter's Advantage on YouTube. Not the podcast channel, just regular Hunter's Advantage. You'll see it. We're over 9,000 subs. It'll be easy. So once you followed us and Out on a Limb on either Instagram or Facebook, what you need to go do is subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Hunter's Advantage. I believe it's at Hunter's Advantage on YouTube. You'll see it, 9,000 subscribers, not the podcast channel. Comment done, and then your username whether that's on Instagram or your name on Facebook. The reason that we want you guys to do that is so we can track your additional entries that you're going to put on Facebook or Instagram by tagging your friends. So let's talk about that for just a minute. Every time you tag 3 people on the original post, that is 1 additional entry. So whether you do that on Instagram or whether you do that on Facebook, that is 1 additional entry. And we're going to max that at 10 extra entries per person. And so that'll be a total of 11 entries max per person, depending on how many people you want to tag in the comments. And just to reiterate one more time, when you comment done on the 10,000 subscriber YouTube video, please leave your Facebook name or leave your on Instagram, your handle, so that we can match up those additional entries to your actual username. Because if you do it and you have a different YouTube name and a different Instagram name, we're not going to be able to track that. And we're not going to be able to verify that you were subscribed to the YouTube. So that's the way that we're going to manage that. And finally, on the giveaway, once we hit 10,000 subscribers, I don't know if that will be in 5 days, hopefully, or 30 days. Once we hit that, we're going to announce the winner within 2 days. Give us a couple days to get all of our ducks in a row, to line up all of the entries, and assign a number to each one of those, because we're going to be doing a random number generator in order to find who wins. So we're going to announce that winner on Instagram Live, and there will also be a subsequent post video that goes out on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram if the winner is not on the live at the time when we announce it. And we'll reach out to you via message. So don't worry about claiming your prize. We're going to reach out to you. And lastly, I'll reiterate one more time, we're going to use random number generation. So it is really, really important that we can match up all of your entries to your YouTube name.
That's right. Because if you're Billy Bob Joe on YouTube and then you're Deerslayer 76 on Instagram, we're not going to be able to line those up, and then I'll just have to keep everything. So,
unless if you guys don't want to see Jake with a $700 setup and some sweet HA merch, then please enter the giveaway and do it in the correct way. We'll have a post about this. It'll all be laid out in the video, so don't think you have to get a notepad and write all this down if you're a podcast listener. But those are the details of the giveaway. We're really excited. We're really excited to be giving away some Out on a Limb stuff, because it really is the lightest, the best stuff. Knees. It is the bee's knees. And then also, once the winner receives their stuff, I assume that'll be a couple weeks after, they've received it. They're going to want to go stick it on a tree. They're going to want to go hang out of their saddle for a little bit. We want to have you on the podcast just for a few minutes at the end of one of the episodes to talk about the gear you received and just give us some genuine feedback on the giveaway and Out on a Limb. We know you're going to love the gear, and we want to bring you guys on to talk about it. And that'll be another way for you guys to verify someone actually got the gear. They didn't just do they didn't just do a fake giveaway. So that's what we're going to do. We're really excited about it, and I hope you guys are too. With that, I hope that all made sense. We're going to jump into some Q&A, and remember, be on the lookout for that video detailing the 10,000 subscribers, because it is coming. So, Jake, you want to take the first email question?
Did we clear everything on that? Anything you want to reiterate?
I think that's it. When you comment done on the YouTube video, please leave your name or your username. Please. I do not want you hagging all your friends and not getting every entry you can.
Yep. All right. So jumping into the emailed questions, this is Connor asks, what are you all's thoughts on Mitch? I assume there's a little bit of autocorrection there.
A little grammatical.
Yeah. What are y'all's thoughts on the Mitch Wampala buck? Do you think it's real?
Oh, no.
I want to let you go with this one.
That's a brutal question. The Mitch Wampala buck is probably one of the most impressive typical deer you will ever see if it's real. I've watched several videos on it. One from Exodus. The video that you did obviously was well done too.
Obviously.
To me, the way that the rack is laid out with the 30-inch spread and talking about all the bucks that Mitch had killed that were above 26 inches spread in a place in Michigan where bucks like that typically don't exist, that seemed fishy to me.
Dude, yes. So when I was researching it, in the history of the record keeping in Michigan, there was only I don't know the exact number, but like less than 2 handfuls, if not less than 1 handful of bucks with the spread credit of like over, I think 20 inches, which 20-inch spread is ridiculous already
spread.
as it is wherever. I mean, no matter where you're at, but for Traverse City, Michigan, there was only like a select few that ever have like 20 or 23-inch like wide that was bigger than that or something like that. And this man killed that buck, which I think was in 1998, and then consecutive years afterwards, he killed like I think 3 to 5 bucks that had like over a 20-inch spread. And so he's killed like
it was
5
a
deer.
26-inch spread, 25-inch spread, something like that.
Yeah, it was something crazy like that. But like you're telling me that this man killed that in like that amount of deer with that spread within like a 5-year period when no one else in the history of Michigan that has reported their deer. Let me just say that has actually entered their deer in of over 20-inch spread.
I don't know.
That does not make sense.
There's a lot of controversy around the scoring of the deer. I saw a new Facebook article the other day that was like, the official scorer speaks out, like about the man, there's just so many odd circumstances around the Mitch Rumpala buck, which, you know, the scrutiny is to be expected, right? Like when you shoot a 200 something inch typical like that 30-inch spread, yeah, there's going to be some scrutiny. I don't know.
So,
it's hard to tell.
Yeah. I don't know if we should say this, but again, I'm not name dropping, but we talked to our taxidermist, or after I released that video, he messaged and was like, said he watched the video, and he, long story short, he basically said he thinks it's faked because he remembers when that happened. And at the time, the high fence operations in Michigan were pretty like
prevalent.
Yeah, they were around. And he said it would really be nothing for like him to basically buy a deer, and then, which as soon as he said that, I was like, it makes sense, because like every single one of his deer had that like the consecutive bucks he harvested after the 1998 buck had like that crazy wide frame. And he was like, yeah, same deer farm, basically. That's what his thoughts were. And I was like, yeah, I mean, kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that Mitch seemed like a very introverted guy, but at the same time, there's very well documented videos of him openly talking about his deer, showing everybody his deer. He filmed the recovery.
But that's another thing. Like, I'm not trying to cut you off, but like I understand like getting scrutinized and all that stuff. Like, everybody's saying like it's a lie, so I'm not even like, screw it, I'm not gonna let anyone see it. I understand that aspect of it, as I said in the video, but the thing is, though, is like if he was like it, because he said this isn't why I hunt. This isn't why I hunt. Like I'm not hunting to please everybody else.
Yeah.
If that's not why he hunts, and so he's not going to score the deer, why did he have his other deer scored? All of his previous deer scored. Because he had multiple in the record book. He had a Missouri State record, and yada yada yada. A lot of big bucks. But why did he stop at that one? I mean, granted, I'm sure the backlash was crazy, it being a potential world record and stuff, but you're missing out on money if it is a legitimate buck, and you're also don't want to silence the skeptics. And then also on top of that, it just doesn't make sense when you scored like previous deer, but you're not going to score a world record, which if someone's lucky enough to score a world record, like have that ability to, it's almost like a duty at that point. It's just like, like whether or not you signed up for it, like it kind of comes with the territory. You know what I mean?
At that point, if I killed the world record and I did it completely legitimately, and people are going to say what they're going to say, right? But if I did kill one completely legitimately, my thoughts would be, out of respect for the deer, there's no one that's going to tell me that this is not a world record. Because the deer grew that rack, and I killed it with my bow. I would be like, this is the world record. I mean, I'm not trying to, maybe you guys think I'm trying to become famous for this or profit off of it, but it's the world record. At a minimum, I'm going to do it for the deer. Right? Score it, make sure it's legitimate. You don't got to go road show it. You don't got to go take it to every single.
No, but you don't have to. But
that's what I'm saying.
I think that like this is how it works. Is like even if you don't want to, you can like basically sell someone a replica of that deer, and then they can go show it. But you still get money from that.
Of course you
and
do.
so you don't have to do anything. And so that's what's kind of crazy about the whole situation.
It's an odd situation. I think
what'd you think of the pictures, like, or that recovery video or anything like that? Does anything seem like sketch about that?
Looking at a 200-inch typical, that seems pretty sketchy. It wasn't the 200-inch thing that threw me off. It was the frame, the width of the frame, and how unnatural those horns look. Like, you do not see. Look at another 200-inch typical. They don't have that kind of, like, they're a 25, 26-inch spread with just an incredible tine length. That deer's spread was otherworldly. You don't even see that in a high fence very often. So I'm just like, man, it doesn't look real. Granted, if I ever see a 200 typical on the ground, I'd be like, that doesn't look real.
Right. Like, that's kind of what I was saying too, is like, on the flip side of Mitch Rompala, even if half of his bucks were actually real, which we have no reason to believe the other ones weren't real, like, you know, if you take this 1998 buck out of the equation, we have no reason to believe all of his other bucks aren't real.
100%.
But with the 1998 buck, even if you take 50% of it, it's just like, even if half of those are real, he's still an incredible hunter.
He's a killer.
Like,
nobody would deny that.
If you sit down and listen to him talk, like, he was, and I mentioned again, he was way ahead of his time. Like, the way he was talking about, like the amount of scouting he puts in, and just, there's only like 3 videos of him talking, and if you go listen to those, you'd be like, I understand.
He reminds me of like a Dan Infalt, like, to some extent, like, just a woods creature who is just a freaking deer killer. You know, like, he's just one of those guys. And does he hold a world record? Only God knows. But I can tell you one thing: he is a hell of a bow hunter.
I know I came out kind of hot in the beginning of this, like, oh no, like, you know, XYZ stuff like that. Like, do I really know? No. But like, could it be real? Could it be fake? Maybe.
Some of the fun is in the discussion, though.
Right. It is.
Some of the fun is in the discussion.
And and I guess it shouldn't matter to us, but I guess when deer season's over and all the fun's over,
what else do you have to think about?
Yeah.
But somebody else's deer. Yeah.
I'm saying.
I got question number 2. This comes from Zachary. I'm just going to call him Hanky Hunts because that's what I know him as. He said, and this question comes from Facebook. What's a good budget camcorder for self-filming? Jake's probably the wrong person to ask. He's not a camcorder guy.
Dude, I've had one camera, and I think we're upgrading this off season. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I bought one camera like going into my freshman year of college, and that's the only one I've used.
DSLR.
This day. Yep. Nikon D5200.
There you go.
With an 18 to 300 millimeter Sigma lens, I think it's called.
Yeah. So Zach, I would say, for super budget minded, like $300 or less, Canon Vixia, can't beat it.
That's a good one. Walmart has them for like $220, I think.
Yeah, you got like a very good optical zoom. You know, stabilization's not going to be that great, but you can't get everything. You can't have it all at $250. You know, but to be honest with you, another great option, if you're just looking for like another angle or something, or you just want very minimal effort, like no tree camera arm or anything like that, a GoPro is a good one.
Yeah,
a Tacticam. Yeah, something like that, something that captures the entire angle. But if you're really looking to self-film on a camcorder, I'd say Canon Vixia. It's very hard to beat that at that price point.
And for other viewers, if they're thinking about getting into it, your phone does pretty good. And I know Out on a Limb has a phone like camera arm. And
yeah, granted,
they do. That seems to work really well. But yeah, I mean, basically all you got to do if like you're like budget friendly, you can go buy a cheap camera arm, and then you can probably order an Amazon Fluid Head that is like an adapter to that somehow, some way, that will hold a phone instead of like screwing into a camera. And bring a battery charger probably, because if you're anything like me, you like playing like blackjack
Clash
or something.
Royale.
Clash Royale on your phone while you sit there and wait on Mr. Biggin to walk by. But Yeah, you can use your phone and bring a battery pack or two and have it charged.
Another thing I'd say about that is, so our buddy Gabe has always asked me, here's about filming and stuff like that. Here's my kind of main thesis. Your phone is about a $1,200. Most of them these days, $1,000, $1,200. They shoot 4K at 24 frames per second, 30 and 60. If you wanted to get a camera, a dedicated camcorder or a dedicated DSLR or mirrorless camera with lenses that you can swap out of that quality, you'd be spending about $1,500 to $2,000. So if you can't afford, and I'm not saying knocking this in any way, but if you're not willing to invest $1,000 in a camera, I would stick with your phone.
Yeah, because that's a good point.
It's way better. And also they have microphone adapters for like shotgun mics and stuff. You can plug into your phone. And that phone is going to be legitimately 2 to 3 times better than a Canon Vixia. But it's very hard to wrap your mind around that because you're like, it's a phone. No, it's a phone. So, it's a computer.
Right.
It's everything.
We were talking about this the other day too. Because the reason I bought like my camera, the one I have, is it's because I heard it did filming really well, and then it took pictures, rather really well. And I was like, so long story short, don't try to do the 2-in-1 thing, right?
No.
If you're looking to take pictures, get one that's more obviously way more camera focused than video. And then same with the video side. Like if you're mainly only planning on video and like your hunts and stuff, go way more video friendly than like a hybrid. Because I tried to do the hybrid because I was like, well, I'll video my hunts and then I'll have a pretty decent camera to take the trophy pics with and all that stuff. It'd be pretty cool. No, because after the new of the camera gets done and over with, I hardly take pictures. And come to find out, Christian's phone takes better pictures than my camera does on the most jacked up setting. So,
and by the way, you can take if you get a very high quality video camera, you can always go in Premiere Pro or your editing software and take a high quality screenshot.
That's true.
of your trophy pic, and it's going to look exponentially better
and more candid, probably.
Yeah, more candid. It's going to look better. So that's just what I'd recommend. Because here's the thing, and I know a lot of people. This is not what Zach was asking, but a lot of people think this way.
When I get a
they think when I get a camcorder, I'll start filming my hunts. When I get a camera, I'll start filming my hunts. If that is your reason that you're holding back of like producing content or producing videos, then don't let that be the reason, because you have a phone, you can film, you can produce videos. You don't need, and this is coming from a gearhead. I like gear. I think gear's cool. You don't need all the gear to make it work. You really don't. We still film YouTube videos on Jake's camera that we bought 6 years ago. The Nikon. So
yes.
If that goes to show you anything.
And my secondary angle is the GoPro I had since like 2014. So
boom, right there. So
it's a session 4, baby.
Rant over. What do we got next?
Marky with a Y, not an IE. What are you all's thoughts on a call buck? So I reckon he's seen the call buck video.
Maybe he did.
Posted out. And
Marky. So he said, what are our thoughts about call bucks?
Yeah, I think he's wanting a little bit deeper dive into that.
Man, the 19 minutes wasn't enough.
No.
Man, call bucks is such a buzzword. Call bucks means everything to everyone, always. So what I think about call bucks, it's a cool idea. Killing bucks with inferior genetics to make other bucks bigger is a cool idea. But one thing I've been thinking about quite a bit recently is us as managers have a lot less influence, I think, on the antler quality of bucks than we think. And one of the reasons I say this is because Don Higgins was talking about buck to doe ratio the other day, and like a guy owned 100 acres. And he was like, what's the optimal buck to doe ratio on my property? What should I try to do? And he was like, to be honest with you, if you don't manage 10,000 acres, it's going to be very hard to influence that, because you could shoot 50 does and here come 50 from your neighbors because now there's all this food. And I think it's a similar thing with call bucks. You can shoot smaller racked or inferior racked bucks thinking you're doing a lot of good, but in reality, you don't know what the genetics of the doe are. You don't know what the combination of a buck and a doe genetics together are going to produce. And two, I think one of the only consistent ways to manage deer is just to shoot for age. And by the way, shooting mature
That's hard
deer,
to do.
It's hard to do, but shooting mature
Sometimes
deer
impossible.
is a trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can shoot a buck.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just shoot a buck, shoot whatever makes you happy. Don't shoot something young and slap a colt buck tag on it, because that's not, no.
That's a good point. I mean, I don't even know if I should say this, but like, kind of take a grasp on your camera data and stuff like that, and like maybe bucks you see on the hoof, because like my property personally, if a deer gets to 4, it's like, wow, like that's
a shooter.
Yeah, like that's cool. Like that's considered an old buck. Now, granted, now in their lifespan, like yeah, like anymore, you look on social media and it's like, oh yeah, this is an 8-year-old, this is a 9-year-old. It's like, that's cool, right? Like don't get too much like social media. Like don't let that bring you down. Like if you have a 4-year-old in a place where every 2-year-old gets shot, and I know everybody says that all their neighbors shoot 2-year-olds, but like I have trail cam data to prove,
I have Facebook pictures to prove
literally that, like, I'll let y'all be the judge on aging the deer from the trail cam, but like a 4-year-old on my piece of private, that's like, hey, you know, that's a good buck that I don't know how he lived this long. So just kind of take that like with a grain of salt in your area.
The cold buck one's funny because it's like, okay, people are like, I can't get a deer to maturity. That's a common problem across the states. Okay, so it's like, well, if I don't want to get hazed by people on social media for shooting an immature buck, the only way I can shoot one and still be happy is to say, well, it was a cold buck, you know, had a kicker off the base. It's a cold buck. No, dude, if you want to shoot it and be happy with it. You don't even have to defend it. You really don't. Shoot a 3-year-old.
I'll be the first to say I shoot score over age any day. Like, I don't care. Like, I have a private. Now, have I passed up a deer just because like they're 3? Yeah, but I was taking a gamble like they would get bigger. I'm not like, I don't care like if that deer decreased in age, as long as he increased in antler value. Like that's what I was going for if I pass a deer. Like I'm not like, oh, that's a 3-year-old. I really hope that like, you know, I really want a 4-year-old limit, and like then I'd shoot it. No, I don't think in those terms, at least on my private. Like if I had a different piece of private somewhere, I might think differently. I'd like to think differently, but it could be a 2-year-old 150, and I'd be like, yes. You can say I'm part of the problem, but
Jake smacking the potential state records at every turn.
That's what I'm just going to be the first to say it. Like I don't care.
Yeah. Shoot what makes you happy. You got enough people. Oh my God, I got to talk about the meme. I've been talking about this meme for like weeks, but
you got to talk about that guy saying you can do call books.
Oh, we got to talk about that too.
Yes.
Okay. I'll do a 2-part. So first part, my uncle Justin posted a meme on Facebook, and we just talk about this in social media quite a bit. But it was a skeleton in a tree stand. And it was a skeleton holding a bow, just like in the tree stand. And it said, me waiting for a buck that makes everybody else happy. I was just like, dude, that's so true. Like you can shoot 165-inch buck. And
well, that's what he did though.
No, 100%. Yeah. You could shoot a 165 and people are going to say, man, you're going to be disappointed. Yeah. You're going to be disappointed or you're going to, you know, you're not going to be happy with that one. You're going to hear things like that. Right. It's like
you're gonna be disappointed with the score.
Yeah. Or let's say like, you know, you pick up sheds and somebody tries to demoralize your sheds or something. And you're like, you want me to leave them on the ground? You're just not going to please people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, who gives a frick on that front? On the other front.
There was always those kids that didn't like their childhood. Just saying, and they grow up and then they try to put it on everybody else.
Right, exactly. You send me your picture of your forky, dude. I'll be happy for you. I'll be very happy for you. There was a guy who I talked to the other day on Instagram.
You don't have to name drop or anything.
No, I was trying to refresh my memory. It basically the premise was we released the Colbuck video. It got a lot of comments. We talked about a scientific study that had been done in South Texas on the Comanche Ranch, and it was a long-term study, like 9 years, 7 years of culling. So, and by the way, some of the most respected wildlife deer biologists in the country, Bronson Strickland, Randy DeYoung, a lot of very respected people. And one of the first comments that we got, or it wasn't a comment, it was an Instagram message. The person said, "Hey," basically told me their name, and they were very polite about it. I will say that. But they were like, "Hey, that video you did was wrong. You can influence genetic on deer. Here's my number. Call me, and I'll basically tell you what's up." And I was like, "Okay, let me ask a few clarifying questions. What do you mean?" I was like, "Are you meaning in a high fence?" He said, "Yes, in a high fence." He said, "You can affect free range deer." And I was like, "Okay, we're not on the same page because I said free range deer."
Of course, you can most likely control the genetics in a controlled environment. Yes.
When no deer get out, when you choose what stays, what goes, of course you can affect the genetics. That's how that works. It's the same thing with cattle.
Yes. Another good example, Cassville, Missouri. There's something called Roaring River.
Yes.
Been to it pretty frequently. It's bad to the bone. If y'all have kids, take your kids there. They'll love you. That's like saying every lunker in that big pool by the hatchery is going to be big because I'm going to take all the small ones out.
That's exactly what that means. So the guy basically went on to say, "Yes, I only mean that in high fence, we agreed on the free range thing." And he said a lot of the study areas that the QDMA and Texas A&M Kingsville did at the time were within a high fence. So I went upon myself. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to look like an idiot if this entire study was in a high fence." And I knew it wasn't based on the research I did, but I made sure. I contacted Lindsey Thomas at National Deer Association, the guy who had published
did
the
you
article.
really?
I did. I was like,
part.
"Hey, this study was not in a high fence, was he?" He said, "No, there are portions of the fence that are high fence, but there is no enclosures. It's not enclosed."
Oh, so it might be like one side,
like a border.
It's like, yeah.
Right. Like if you're in there, you got to go around. But it's not like we're keeping these deer in a pen and studying them that way. So
Right.
I thought that was funny. And
if that's the case, you would call Don Higgins' property a high fence.
Yeah, exactly. So Lindsey, he confirmed that, and it was interesting. But me and the guy ended up agreeing. At first, I was like, "Okay, what do you mean I'm wrong?"
You see, I didn't hear the second half, so I came in again with a little bit of fire. So I apologize.
It got me flustered, when you put a few dozen hours into a video and somebody was like, "You're wrong. Let me learn you something, boy." You're like, it's like that TikTok video where it's like, "You got soft hands, 80 hours a mother trucking day."
You wake up at 3:30 a.m. I've been up since yesterday.
Yeah. I feel like I was getting like Big Brothered or whatever, but no, it was really funny.
Well, good.
I think we beat the Cole Buck one pretty good. Hopefully people got a laugh about that one.
Yeah.
I got a TikTok one ready.
All right. I need to pull up TikTok.
This guy's name is Dumb She in the Daylight. That's a funny name. He said, "What bow release do you use?"
I shoot with my fingers.
That made me think before you answer this question. I always ask Carol, I'm like, "Dude, what are you going to do if you leave your release in the truck or something?" He goes, "Dude, if I see a big enough one, I swear I'll wrap all 4 of my fingers around that string, pull back, and just let go."
He's going to be very disappointed. I've tried that before, like just at a bow bag and lost an arrow.
Dude, you torque your string so much. Like you put like S bends in it.
I want to type something in the chat. Go ahead.
Okay. No. I can just talk to me. I used a Cobra Moment for a long time, which is a wrist strap release. And what I really liked about that release was it had 3 different positions. So you could either use it out as a normal release, you could fold it halfway in, or you could fold it all the way close to your wrist. So when you're climbing up the tree, it wasn't like banging on the tree stand and stuff. I really liked that about it. I've switched to a Stan Onyx, which is a thumb button release. I shot 2 does with that at the end of the season, and have been practicing with that for a few months, and I really like that. I'll be shooting out at the Total Archery Challenge. And
he shot high with that, so I mean, I wouldn't recommend it.
It's a great release. It's like you give me a race car in the Daytona 500. It's all operator error. I ain't placing it. I don't care if you give me the best one. So.
No. I said that hopefully to say the truth, because if you watch the video, the deer did duck. So I'm just giving them crap.
Yeah. What about you? What release do you use?
So I just copied you, and I asked because funny enough, you talk about tack. Last year in tack at Beaver Spins, get it on. We have it on video too. Went to draw back for a target, and my release just explodes. And I'm like, well, that one's over. But then again, it was Christian's old release from like 10 years ago. So it was about time. It had its money's worth, that's for sure. But I switched to the Moment by Cobra just because Christy told me to.
Yep. The Hunter's Advantage podcast is powered by Out on a Limb Manufacturing. Out on a Limb is a family-owned company based right here in Oklahoma that makes tree stands, saddle platforms, climbing sticks, and so much more.
Christian, I have a quick question.
What's that?
What bites down harder, a hippo or an alligator?
No idea.
It's a trick question. The Ridge Runner 2.0 bites harder than both of them. But all jokes aside, we use these products all across the land on public or private. These help us get into any tree we want and hunt where the deer actually are.
Most men go to the grocery store for their meat, but these products help you go to God's grocery store. I have used the Out on a Limb Ridge Runner 2.0 and the Shakar sticks for the last few years hunting public land bucks, and I've actually shot several bucks out of this setup. If you want to support the podcast and get some Out on a Limb equipment, make sure to go to outonalimbmfg.com and use code HNTA10 for 10% off at checkout. Once again, if you want to support the podcast, go to outonalimbmfg.com and use code HNTA10 at checkout for 10% off. Now let's get back to the podcast. All right, what else we got?
This one's from CB Klein Smith. What are y'all's favorite rifle chambers?
Well,
it's the only one I know, 30-06.
In about 2016, I got scoped by 3 times in a row during rifle season. So I people are like, oh, you really have a passion for bow hunting. I'm like, nope, just don't like rifles.
Haven't treated me well.
Yeah.
It's almost like that off of the bench warmers where it's just like
the sun.
Yeah, he's like hot. Well, how's the moon treating you? Not a fan.
I like that one. Yeah, exactly. No, if I had to pick, I won't say 30.6 because I know Jake's gonna say 30.6. I think a 2250 is a pretty freaking sweet round. Not for shooting deer. Not for shooting deer. It's not. But I like that round. I think. I don't know. I'm kind of stupid with the way I pick rounds because I like pick a round based on like what looks cool. I have no idea about velocity or drop or weight or anything. I'm like, 6.5 Creedmoor has a long bullet. Looks very cool. And
that sounds cool.
Yeah, has a cool name. So I'd say a 22-250.
Yeah, my go-to would be the 30-06, but I like the 30-30. Like my dad had an old lever action 30-30. It was pretty sweet.
Shot a few deer with it.
Shot my first buck ever with it.
Yep. You must enjoy like 150 yards max range.
It's fine.
All right, what do we got next? I got the next one, I think. OKS Hunter said, how close do y'all get into bucks betting?
Well, on private.
Hold on. When I got on Wired to Hunt to talk with the Element guys, they asked me how close I get to betting, and I said, I like to get up in their chili.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, that's a good point. Like on private, you might want to be a little bit conservative in a way. In my situation on private, like the only timber I have is bedding. So if you hunt it, make sure everything's pitch perfect, good wind. Yeah, basically good wind. And then, on public, I would say, from your words from Wired to Hunt, get up in their chili, because you're not there for a long time. You're there for a good time. You know what I mean? And if you bump them, there's always more spots to hunt.
I agree. That's kind of how I feel about it. I would say depends on the property quite a bit, but public land, I'm a heck of a lot more aggressive. I'm not like Dan Infault where he's like, I got up in the tree and I saw the deer in its bed. No, you can't see him where we hunt like that. But I'd say a couple 100 yards from bedding. That'd make me super comfortable.
And sometimes that's the highlight of the trip. It's just like, I was walking to my spot and I bumped one, and that's the only one I've seen in 3 days. So it was a good day.
That's true. Yeah. Private land, a little more conservative, but
right.
We got one more, I think. I think this is the last question.
Huntworks. He says, why do I suck at hunting so bad?
God gives his hardest battles to his toughest soldiers.
Literally, I ask myself that question every single year. And so when you figure it out, write a book, and I guarantee you can make a killing, because I'd buy at least 3 copies.
Huntworks, the reason that God is doing this to you is because you do so well with your like Little Debbie TikToks and your Casey Pizza TikToks about your stomach rumbling. He knows that it'll inspire your creative juices to make better content. And I'll be honest, some of my favorite videos on all of TikTok are Huntworks videos. Like, he takes sounds and makes them so funny. Like, he did a video the other day where he was like me knocking on the landowners, asking for permission. It's the guy's like, you got soft hands, boy, you got soft hands.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's so funny.
I love for hand-me-outs nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. Huntworks, I don't think you're bad. I think your issue was what our issue was in Kansas. You just passed too nice of a buck too early in the season.
That's what I'm saying, baby.
We're
going to be like advocates for like the okayest hunter. And I'm not saying like that in a bad light at all, but I'm just saying like, I can promise you if it's brown, it's
never pass.
Dude, it's down next year. I can promise you that.
Never pass is like one of my favorite things that they say. It's like, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Never pass.
I can guarantee you. So yeah, we're going to get it done next year. I promise.
That's right. That's all we had for questions. That one was fun. I always like the Q&A because you never know if you're going to get serious questions or you're going to get some funny ones like that. And it's actually one of my favorite things to do is the Q&A. So thank you guys for sending in the questions. And got some cool stuff up on YouTube. Be looking out for the 10,000 subscriber giveaway. That's coming soon. Very, very soon on the YouTube video. Make sure to leave us a rating and review. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, every one of them. Go sub on YouTube. What else you got for him, Jake?
I would say if you don't think you're going to win the giveaway and you really want something from Out on a Limb anyways, you can go check them out. If you don't know about them, they're a really good Oklahoma-based company, as you already said in the start of this podcast. But yeah, go check them out. If you find something you like, be sure you use code HNTA10 at checkout for 10% off. That's right. And by the way, if you don't think you're going to win the giveaway, we could have like 15 people enter and you could have won it. So please don't be one of those guys. I've seen giveaways before. They're like, all right, we had 12 people to draw from. I'm like, dude, I could have been like 4 of those people with my all emails. A quick story. I don't know who it was. If it was Greg, I'm going to murder his last name. Greg Glessinger. Yep. Yeah. I think it was him. He was giving away a bow sometime last year. And I was like, I'm not even going to enter. I entered 3 times. And there was like less than 1,000, or it was either 500 or 1,000 people that entered. And he like did the Instagram live and stuff and showed it. And I seen my name where like it stopped, and it had my name 3 times in a row. And then like 2 or 3 down, that's the person that won the bow. And I was like, sad face emoji. Dang. So it could happen. It could happen. You could be the guy. Not to me, obviously, but maybe to you. Yeah, exactly. So make sure to enter, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye. Thank you guys so much for checking out the Hunter's Advantage podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to the podcast. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next episode.